Good afternoon everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. So here today we are going to be looking at displaying sets on a number line. So if you're new to this YouTube channel, kindly like, subscribe and share for more so that my video gets recommended to a broader audience. So what are some of the things that you need to know under sets? Firstly, when you look at these brackets, if the brackets are like this, you're going to say this one is not included. So whatever number is in this type of a bracket, it means to say that number is not included. If you have something like this, it means to say the number is included like that. So now let's say for example you have your a, which should be equal to, let's say you have a 2 comma 2. So how do you represent this? So remember, this type of a bracket, it's not a square bracket, it is an open bracket like that. This means to say it is not included. So what I like to think of it is that if you look at the shapes, if you look at this and this one, you will realize to say this one looks more stronger. So this one means include, this one do not include. So therefore, if you were to sketch 2 comma 2 in such a manner, you will have something like this. Not 2 comma 2, sorry. Let's say you have 2 comma 4. Let's say here there is 2, here there is 4. So already this means to say it should be an open circle to ensure that it is not included like this. So if we don't shade it, it means to say it is not included. So if we were to shade that, it would look something like this. If we were to shade this one, which looks like a 2 comma a 4 like this, so you have used a closed circle like that. So this means include, so you can associate it with a strength like that. So we are going to have something like this. We have a 2 here, we have a 4 here. So we have 2 is included, it means to say shade it. We go at 4, there is an open circle, it means to say do not shade. Likewise, if you have your a should be equal to, you have a 2 comma positive 4 like this, both of them closed circles, it means to say these circles are strong, meaning to say those numbers you include them. So we are going to have a 2 is here, 4 is here, so we have 2 comma 4. This means that shade to show that 2 is included, shade to show that 4 is included like that. So already that is the basic information that you need. Now we can start answering questions. So let's say we have this problem. Let a be equal to x is a member of R, where x is from -4 greater than or equal to x less than 2 like that. And we have this one is our b is equal to x is a member of real numbers that are greater than or equal to -1. So how do we show this one on a number line? So this is very simple. Let us use the square brackets that we have been using. So already, if you are to name your a in such a manner, you can say that your a should be equal to, so we have a closed bracket, since x, they are saying that x is greater than or equal to 4. So we are going to say our square brackets to include -4, but they are saying that x must be less than 2, meaning to say x must not be included. So we are going to show that it will be 2, then we are going to have something like this. So now, a mistake that other people would make is saying that a is equal to, then they say that it is -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1 only like this. This is incorrect. Why is it incorrect? If we are looking at real numbers are all the numbers that you can think of except the imaginary numbers, meaning to say even if from -4 to -3 you have skipped some numbers which might be infinite, such as a 3.9, 3.99, 3.9999999. So the set would continue like that. So it is actually impossible to name all the numbers from -4 to 1 if you are looking at the real numbers. So therefore this and this are not equal unless if this was a set of integers. so it is different, just an emphasis on that. So therefore we are going to have our A is that. Then let's look at our B. So our B is all the members of X are beginning from -1 going up. That's the meaning. If X is greater than or equal to -1, so we can say that B should be equal to, we have a square brackets to show that -1 should be included. Then we have comma, our positive infinite, like that. So already this means that your X, since X should be greater than 1, it means to say X includes values such as 0, 1, 2, 3. Now the values will increase to some positive value, like that. So now to graph this one first, let us be able to sketch first. So we are going to have something like this. So what we have is the number line with the smallest number being a -4. We also have a -1. We also have a +2 somewhere here. Let's say our 0 is here. So now to show this one, let us first graph our A. Our A is a value such that we have our A value to be a -4. So -4 is here. Since there is a square bracket here, we can show them by saying a -4 at this point. We are going to shade it, then go. Where are we going to go? We are going to end at 2. So at 2, we are told that 2 should not be included, so it should be an open circle like that. So we are going to join them. So already this is our A. So this is how we shade our A. We are just going to shade them on one diagram. Then we also have our B. Our B is at -1. So our -1 is here. So our -1 is here. Then it is going to the positive infinite. Our -1 should be included. So we do this, then go to the positive infinite. So this is what we are going to do, and just show it by showing an arrow to say the numbers are continuing like that. So they range up to some positive infinite. So this is our B value. Now ask yourself, what am I gonna do? So firstly, the first question is asking us to find A intersection of B. So A intersection B. So they are telling us to say, where does A and B meet? So this is a very simple concept. So we are going to do this. So when we say that A intersection of B, that's the one that we want to name. So our A intersection of B will be equal to, where does A and B meet? In other words, where do they overlap? So we are going to have shadings like this. So all these are where A and B are meeting. So up to until a +2. Now get the point to say in A, 2 is not included. So therefore, we should have an open circle at that point. So we are going to say that our set will be such that it will be equal to, we have a closed circle since -1 is found on both. So it will be a -1, comma, a +2, like that. Now 2 should not be included since in A it is not there. Therefore, it cannot be intersection. Intersection means both. So this is our answer for A intersection of B, like that. Okay, so let us now look at our A complement. So how do we answer for our A complement? A complement simply means to say, look at all the members that are not in A. So we are going to stand here. Since 4 is included in A, this is why it's closed. So we are going to open a circle there. Then we are going to go to our right. This is part of our A complement. Then we also have A. At A, 2 is not included, meaning to say A complement 2 should be included. Then we go to our right, like that. So after doing that, we already know to say all the values from here. We have here, it is -3, -2. These will range up to some negative infinity, meaning to say they will reach negative infinity. So we are going to say that it will be, and the answer will be an open brackets negative infinity. So open bracket, because you cannot reach an infinity value. The numbers continue increasing like that. Then we are going to say comma a 4. So we are going to say -4, of which it should not be included since it is found in A. Then we are going to combine it with a union. Union means combine. Then we are going to stand at 2. Now at 2, it should be included there. So we are going to say a 2. Then we have comma a positive infinite. So the numbers here range to some positive infinity value like that. And you cannot reach an infinity value. So that is how you solve that one. So for our second problem, it says that let R, the set of real numbers, be the universal set. If A is equal to this and B is equal to this, find the set display. Find the following sets and display them on a number line. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to show these sets. So we are going to have something like this. Then we are going to just have one diagram. So this is what we have. So what we are going to do is we are going to shade them on a number line. So we have something like this. Then we are going to look at what is our smallest value. Our smallest value is -7. So we are just going to use one number line. So we have a -7 like that. We have our smallest second value is a 0. Then we move to 8. We move to 8. We move to 11. Then we move to our 20. Then that side it will be an infinite value. So let's begin by shading our A. Our A says that our -7 should be included, the square bracket. So our A should be included like that. Then we go at 8. 8 should not be included like that. So we can first shade the first part of our A like that. So this is our A. The other part of A is that it is from 11 to some infinite value. So we are going to stand at 11, include it since we have a square bracket. Then we are going to move to our right like that. So now since it is infinite, it means to say we can show it by doing that. So the other part is we have for B, it is saying that 0, 20 with both numbers included. So we are going to say we have our 0 included like that. We also have our 20, which is also included. So we have our 20, which is also included. Then we are going to join them to show our B like that. So we can just label them. So already this is our A, this is still our A, then this one is our B like that. So what we are going to do is so the first thing is that we need to find, according to the question, we need to find what our A complement is. So our A complement should be equal to, so our A complement means to say it is beginning at -7, since A is starting at 7. Since -7 is included, meaning to say in the A complement it should not be included, then it will go to this side. Now the other part, so this is our A complement. The other part of our A complement is in between this point. So let's just rub our B. We are going to regain it. So we are going to have our other part of A is such that we have this point, from this point to this point. So this, at this point, A is not included. So since 8 is not part of A, so we are going to shade this and say that 8 should be included in A complement. However, A for 11 is included, so we are going to have an open circle there. So to label our A complement, we can be able to say, since here it is going to the negative infinite, so we can be able to say that our answer will be open brackets negative infinite comma A -7, since our -7 should not be included. Then say union. Then we have our +7, which should be included since it is shaded there. So we have our union of, we are going to have our 8 included, then 11 it's an open circle, so we are going to say 11 like that. So this means to say we have labeled our A complement. So the next part that we are finding is, let us find our A intersection of B. So our A intersection of B means, where do I have both? So A and B meet at this point. So this is where they begin to meet like that, where they begin to meet. Then at this point, intersection means both. So when we reach this point, that is the last point, here there is a gap. So there are members that are not in A, so we can't shade this because intersection means both. So we are going to continue our shading at this point up until we reach our 20. So our 20 is included, however at 8 is not found in A. This is why we have an open circle, therefore it is not going to be included even in our solution. So to describe this, so already our 0 is found in both A and B, so we can be able to open put a closed circle, then say 0 comma, then at where 8 is we are going to put 8, then have an open circle, then union of, we are going to say something that looks like this. Since 11 is included in A and B, then we are going to have 11 comma our 20 with 20 included in both numbers. So that is how we find our A intersection B. The other question is given us, we are told to say find A union of B complement. So how do we find this? We must first be able to identify what our A union of B is for us to find the complement. So already A union B means combine the sets of your A and your B. So if you combine, it looks like something like this. So union means combine. As long as it is shaded in A or B, you include it. It continues like that. So if I was to shade list my A union of B should be equal to, so it's beginning at -7. So we are going to include -7, then we are going to say comma. Now this continues, since A is continuing from 20 to some positive value, for positive infinity, it simply means to say even here we are going to put positive infinity because union means combine. So that is how you go about that. With this, we can now be able to shade what our A union of B complement will be equal to. Now if you look here, every value is included from -7 to some positive infinite like that. So that means to say, if that's the case, that means to say we are going to have some value like this. So at this point, this is where our A union of B complement will be. It will be all the values that are not included in A union of B, which are from 7 to some positive infinite like that. So these values will span to a negative, infinite as you go to your left like that. So therefore A union of B should be equal to some negative infinity, which you cannot reach, negative infinity to, now 7 is listed in A union of B, meaning to say it is included in here, so it should not be included since we are saying that complement. So we are going to say -7 like that. So this is our answer for that problem. So let's look at our last problem. So if you have been enjoying the video, kindly like so that my video can be recommended to a broader audience. So let's say that let x be equal to this, A be equal to this, and our C be equal to that. So we are required to draw the number line, which we are just going to use one diagram. So we have our x is equal to -10, 10. Now here we need to be careful. This let this be the universal, meaning to say there is no other number outside the set x. So all these A, B, and C will just be within our x. So we are going to graph them on our one graph. Then we are going to have, so we have our smallest value is a -10, then our other value is a -5, So we are following our negative 5 there, then followed by our negative 2. So we have our negative 2, then our negative 1 like that. Then we also have our 3. Then we have our other value that is smaller. We have our 6. Then finally we have our 8. Then the last value is our 10 like that. So let us be able to graph this on one graph. So our x is from negative 10 to 10. So with both of these, with open circles, it means to say they are not included. So we are going to have something like this. So we are going to join the line like that. So this is our line of for our x. Then we also graph the other one. So this is our x. Then we graph for our a. Our a is starting from negative 2 with negative 2 not included, meaning it's an open circle. We go at 6 with 6 included. We shade it like that. Then we are going to join them like that. So already this means that this is our a like that. If we look at our c is starting at our negative 5. So we have our negative 5, which is here. So our negative 5, which should be included. Then we go to 3, which should also be included like that. So we can be able to shade them like that. So this is what we have. So this one is our B. Then to look at our C, we are going to have, so this is our, our C is from negative 1 with negative 1 included since it's a closed circle. Then our positive 8, which should be here, it should be an open circle since the bracket used there. We join them to form our C. So we can now be able to answer questions. So our first question is saying a complement. So how do we find the complement of a in this case? So we are going to have this type of a situation. A complement means to say what are the numbers that are outside a. So since we have a closed circle here, we should have an open circle, then move this side. Then we should also have a closed circle at this point since a does not include negative 2. So that is what we are going to have. Then it will go to the right with this one shaded. So we are required to name this. So naming this set, so as usual, we were beginning from our negative infinity. However, since the range, or rather the universal, is only ending up to 10, it means to say we can't go beyond this. So our value for this problem will be our negative 10. Since negative 10 is not included in the universal, so it will be a negative 10 with an open circle like that. Then comma, we have a negative 2 like that with negative 2 included. Then we say union of, then our a, at our a we have a 6, which is not included since we have an open circle. Then we have our comma of positive 10 as the highest, which is also not included. So the other part is asking us to say the set difference x minus a. What does this mean? This simply means to say what members are in x that are not in a. So each and every time you say x minus a, you are saying what members are in x but are not in a. So these members are beginning at 6, an open circle since a has got a 6, going this side. So these are the members of x that are not in a. So we are only interested in those that are not in a. We also come here at 2. Since negative 2 is not in a, then we are going to shade it like that. Then we are going to have a line like that until we reach our 4 there. So already we are going to have an open circle at that point. So this is what we have. So at 10, so this is at 10. So the set differences, it is the same as the complement for a since x is the universal. That's the only thing that is there. It's not that it will always come out like this. It's only that x is the universal. Then this will be equal to, so the smallest is negative 10, which we are going to go there. So we are going to open negative 10, then we have comma a negative 2, which should be included. Then we are going to say union of, we have our point, which is our 6 not included, up to a 10. So the arrow here does not necessarily continue at that point. It just ends at 10 since the universal is out of 10. So when we remember, when we are looking at set differences, we are looking at what members are in x that are not in a. That's the meaning of x minus a, and that's really simplified things. So let us now be able to answer the other one, which is saying that a intersection of c, then we have a complement like that. So our question number 3 says that a intersection of c, then we put a complement this side. So this one should be equal to, so what are we going to do? So let us simplify our diagram. So by rubbing some, so our only set of interest is our a and c. So before we can put the complement, let us first find what our a intersection of c is equal to. So a intersection c is, where do we have both? So it is at this point. So we can shade for a and c this point until we reach this point. So this is what we have. So we have until that point. So this means that a negative 1 is included in both a and c. So we can say that our a intersection c will be equal to, including a negative 1 up to our 6, which should also be included since it is found in both a and c. Then we are going to do something like this. So we have square brackets like that. Then after doing that, we can now be able to identify what our a intersection of c complement is equal to. So to find our a intersection of c complement, it means to say we are beginning at this point, then going this side until we reach the universal, which is our 10 for this problem. So be careful with the condition that has been used. And also we have another one, which is from our c here going to this side until we reach a 10. So to finally be able to more like shade this, it will be equal to, we are going to have our a intersection of c complement, which should be from a negative 10. We begin from the smallest, which should not be included since it is not there in the universal. So it will be negative 10 comma a negative 1, which should not also be included since it is there in the intersection. Then we are going to say union of, beginning from our a, which is our 6. So we can be able to say 6 comma until we reach a 10. So 10 should not be included since it is not included in the universal. So we have a 10 like that. So this is how we shade. So if you enjoyed the video, kindly like, subscribe and share for more so that my video can have a broader audience. See you in the next tutorial.